I walked into the pub the other day and someone that we both know just came up and was like, do you like anal?
Oh, what? Didn't even say hello? Just like...
No, it was literally the first thing out of her mouth.
This podcast contains topics and language that people may find offensive or triggering and may not be appropriate for younger listeners. We are not medical professionals and any advice should be taken on face value. Please consult your doctor if you have any issues, and please let it be known that all sexual activity should be context appropriate, consent appropriate, age appropriate and species appropriate. Anything else is fair game.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Pleasure Perspective. I've got to say that right. Some
Pleasure Perspective podcast.
Yeah.
It is
I'm Dan.
I'm Claire. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Today,
Yeah, what we're talking about.
I want to talk about engagement.
What do you mean, like getting married?
No. Married. No one wants to do that. That's not what this podcast is about
Yeah, no, please. All right.
at all.
Engagement, go on. All right, explain more in detail. What you mean.
I walked into the pub the other day and someone that we both know just came up and was like, do you like anal?
Oh, what? Didn't even say hello? Just like...
No, it was
All right.
literally the first thing out of her mouth. She's a bartender there,
Okay, all right. So,
really young.
yeah.
So,
But she knows you really well, and she
Oh,
knows that you
absolutely.
love sex, so
Yeah,
that's quite a normal thing for her to say to you, I would say.
yeah, and she...
If a stranger said that to me, I'd probably want to punch them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so her next question was, after I explained my stance on anal,
Right.
which we'll go into
Yeah.
a different podcast,
Okay.
purely on anal.
Okay.
And then she was like, what's your favourite sexual position?
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, I don't really have one.
Mm.
Like, I like moving around a bit and doing some different stuff. And I was like, well, I quite like eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh, well, we wouldn't be compatible then, or something.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Or like,
Quite a few people don't like eye contact. They find it too much.
Yeah,
too
well, she
intense.
was just like, ugh. Well, I can't remember
Yeah.
her exact response. It's like, I don't want to look at you.
Great.
And it kind of got me thinking about coming back to the arrogance of the podcast,
Awesome.
why I'm so good in bed.
But what's this got to do with engagement? I'm still confused about engagement, the word engagement.
So being engaged with somebody whilst you're...
Having sex. Okay, I'm with you now. All right, cool. All right.
Because as it sort of rolled over in my mind as to the fact that I like being engaged with the person I'm thinking about,
Yeah.
it made me realise that might be one of the reasons why people enjoy having sex with me.
Mm-hmm. It makes it more intimate, doesn't it, I think?
Well, because it's about them.
Yeah.
So when you have sex with someone and they've got their eyes closed, if I'm having sex with someone and they've got their eyes closed, I'm always a bit kind of like, well...
What are you thinking about?
yeah, exactly.
Fishing.
Who are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? Yeah, and, the sort of, I don't know, it's a bit different when the eyes roll into the back of the head and they're, in full orgasm.
Yeah.
But before that point, when you're actually truly engaged with somebody, it's just the best thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do have that eye contact, you're
present with that person, aren't you?
well, yeah.
know?
But you're also showing to that person that they are the person that you're attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably one of the most important things when you're having sex with somebody. For them to feel like you are totally present in that moment.
Yeah.
And there's
And
lots
also, it's also with, sorry to interrupt, but also that can lead on to talking during sex as well. So finding out what they like, and it's easier to find out what someone likes when you're actually looking at them, you know what I mean?
yes.
So, yeah, and then the whole sex talk comes into it,
Yeah.
which I find quite hard.
I don't.
I find it quite
I
difficult.
love it.
Yeah. When I get into it, fantastic. But for me to break that and enjoy myself, I find that hard. The eye contact I can do. I've got the confidence for that. But when it comes to the starting to, sex talk, that's when it's like, they might not like it. So,
So I don't necessarily... So I was... And I kind of wanted to talk about pornography a little bit.
Okay.
Because what you tend to find is that the famous porn stars, the one that do it and have long careers and are very successful, tend to be the people who look to the camera like they're either engaged 100% with the other person, or looking directly at the camera as if they're engaging with you. So, and there's sort of what's her name, like a Bella Danger and like Lana Rhodes and like the really, really famous successful
I actually
people.
have no idea who they are, but yeah.
Okay. Show you pictures later.
Great.
Well, I probably won't.
I don't mind.
So, and you can tell. And actually, I've seen sort of behind the scenes of pornography before, where the actual actors will really, really be wanting the other person. So I've seen when two porn stars meet for a shoot and they immediately go up to each other and start kissing each other, despite the fact they're not actually filming any porn.
Right, okay. Yeah. All right. How interesting.
And I quite like that.
Yeah.
Well, I do like it. There is genuine engagement between two people.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's lots of sort of fluffy talk around, being present and being connected to somebody. And the reason, and I think that a lot of that comes about by people knowing each other.
They work well together, you know what I mean?
And finding somebody who has the same engagement.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you can't do it it doesn't mean you can't do it on a one-night stand. And I think that's why I've always got away with it. Because I am absolutely, normally, there's obviously times where your mind has to go into a different place or whatever. Or you're actually just not enjoying it, or you don't really want to look at their face.
And also, it's like the sense of touch, you know what I mean, before even getting into it. For me, that's really important engagement, feeling like quite safe and nice and like it's when someone's touching me and just like, rubbing my feet, for instance, like taking their time rather than it's like, right, knickers off, let's go, bang,
It's my cock.
Yeah.
Suck it, then I'm going to...
It just, I'm like, nah. Like, I mean, yes, there's a whole ripping of clothes off and it's like, yes, and it's like intense looking each other in the eyes,
Yeah.
Great. But yeah, definitely the whole touching, that's part of the engagement that I think a lot of women love as well.
Yeah. And once you get to that stage, or if you're doing that and you are engaged in that conversation with, what do you like? Is this okay? Can I pull this? Can I poke that? Can I bite this? Suck that? This? Whatever.
You always ask it.
Yeah.
Or if you do it, it's like, no, don't do that again. Didn't like that,
Can I just spit in your eye?
I love it.
Actually, I have had that once where a woman actually asked for something similar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Were you happy to provide? Yeah. Fair. I don't know if I could do that. Certain things.
But
someone asked me can you pee on me? I'd be like, I don't know if I could pee on someone. Not with somebody I don't know very well.
I've done it once.
Yeah.
But it was literally, we were having a conversation about what's enjoyable.
Yeah.
She's like, well, let's go to the bathroom, pee on me, and we'll see if we enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so it's like a proper experiment. Well, that's cool. That's
Right.
I
know, we literally went in there, peed on her, and she's like, anything? And I'm like, no. She's like,
it's warm.
No, me neither. Let's just have a shower and have some normal sex.
Yeah, let's try this again. At least you tried it, do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
There's like consent, you're both really up for it. It's rather than like you just pee on her because you like peeing. And then she's like, I don't like that. Like, that would be really bad if that happened.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But that would be a mismatch of engagement.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, I genuinely thought it was the most, it was a thing that set me apart from other people's sexual partners.
Right, okay.
So I wanted to kind of tell these people how important it is, because I see it rarely. I effectively don't force, but I actively encourage someone to be engaged.
Yeah.
You know, I want to look in your eyes. I want to know what you want.
Yeah.
I want to know, if I
thrust this way, all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's a change in them, isn't there?
Yeah.
You can see it straight away, and you're like, right, they're like that move, so I'll do that move every now and then. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like reading somebody, isn't it, without talking?
Yeah. And
it's hard to do that without
And a lot
eyes.
of people just don't do it at all.
Yeah.
They just go, right, this is how sex works. I've got to put my penis in, and then I've got to thrust around for a bit.
I think people are nervous. I think people are really nervous about it, because it's that whole taboo, isn't it? Like, if we spoke about it more, then we'll all learn so much more, Yeah. I love talking about sex. It's great. I've learned so much from talking to my friends about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And, I don't really have much more than that on it. It was just this is ridiculously important. Everyone should be doing this. And if you're not doing it, that's probably why you're not being very successful. If, you could have a giant penis, or you could go to the gym 70 times a week and have the greatest body on earth.
Yeah.
But if you're not engaging with someone during the process of having sex, then you're probably not going to be welcomed back.
Yeah. I agree with you totally there. For me, it's very much about touch. To start off with, the eye contact is a real big thing, and that is a real confidence thing as well. Like, I didn't used to open my eyes at all when I was like in my 20s, maybe into my early 30s, and like now it's just like that's the complete opposite. And it's like it's just it is confidence to do that,
Yeah.
And I think people feel extremely vulnerable when they're naked,
And I guess that leads me, it leads into the same point really. But I've had sex with people fairly recently that have gone, I never thought I'd have the confidence to do that.
So you're kind of like, if you make them feel comfortable, then that confidence comes through, right? But that can take time, and that's fine. You know what I mean?
But by being engaged makes people feel desirable, like both ways. Male, female, female, male, female, whatever your sexual preference is. If you are genuinely engaged with someone, we've touched on it in a few of the other episodes in sort of how to talk to potential sexual partners and all that kind of stuff. Is when you're if you're trying to chat someone up in a pub, don't just talk about yourself.
That's a big turn off.
Huge turn off.
Ask questions.
Loads of questions. And listen to the answer. And then, and then if you're in a situation where you're single and trying to find a sexual partner, then turning that into a sort of a sexual thing before you get anywhere near a bedroom, and going, well, what do you like? Well, I quite like this.
And that's quite fun to talk about when you're out and about around people as well, because you feel a bit naughty, so you know what I mean? You're in the pub. It just makes it more exciting, you know what I mean? So making it playful, do you know what I mean? So it all comes down to confidence, doesn't it, though, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
And making the other person confident. And the other person will be confident. So I had never understood people that, never understood. I've gone back with people and they've gone, oh, I needed to turn the lights off.
Right,
And I've just been like, no, I want to look at you.
Yeah. You're gorgeous.
And they're like, yeah, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm looking at you now. My dick is hard.
Yeah, we're all good.
yeah. Like,
We're fine.
There's nothing wrong here. There is absolutely nothing wrong with your body, according to my body.
Yeah. There's proof. Absolute proof.
Yeah. And there's, if my endocrine system was doing anything other than wanting to have sex with you right now, it would tell him it wouldn't be doing that.
Exactly. The body can't lie.
Yeah. So and then we've had sex with light, you know, and they've gone, oh, well, you know, that was amazing. It's like, well, because you're beautiful. And they're like, oh, thanks.
Yeah. And girls love being called beautiful. Just love it. It's great.
Yeah. Well, and men love being called handsome.
Yeah.
You know.
Would you say handsome? What other words can I use to like pick up a guy's self-esteem? You know,
I'm not going to make
sexy.
So
definitely,
sexy's fine.
Yeah.
I
don't know. You're very handsome. Yeah, no, I'd say that. Yeah.
So I got called pretty recently.
No. Oh, isn't that cute? You're so pretty, Dan. That's not a turn on.
English isn't her first language.
Okay.
So, and she's been doing it for a while, and then she called me cute as well.
Okay, no, that's I'm not 5.
or a tiny puppy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, but that's just a language thing, and actually, because it's her.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah,
so,
lost in translation.
Yeah. So, and we've had that conversation since, and she's like, "Oh, actually, that's quite funny."
Yeah.
But yeah, no, handsome's good.
Yeah.
But again, just looking at someone like you desire them is enough.
I think pointing out like what you actually do like. So it's like you've got lovely eyes, or you know, like anything like shoulders. I've got a thing about shoulders. Beautiful eyes, really cute eyes.
Cute, yeah, pretty cute eyes.
Yeah, you know, like pointing out those things.
Yeah, probably all hay fevery and red at the moment.
Yeah, I've been having a bit of that at the moment.
Yeah,
but yeah. So yeah, it's definitely. I'm a big believer in eye contact. You're absolutely right. It makes all the world of difference. Like definitely. I have had it where I've been a bit intimidated because, like, you know, guy's on top and he's like really like eyes wide open looking at me, you know, and I'm like.
Oh yeah,
okay,
you need to not stare.
Yeah, I've had that before. That was quite intense. So, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we need to pull back a little bit. As anyone who ever watches this is now just staring at their partner. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be That's good. To look at somebody, without scaring them. Is that another podcast?
No, I think it's being relaxed. And
exactly.
And, you know, being.
I think being able to talk as well. I think that's a lovely thing to do during sex. I haven't quite mastered that yet. I'm confident sometimes I'm not. Depends who I'm with. But yeah, it is a fantastic way of like finding out what someone wants as well.
It's my favourite thing. In fact, I was watching pornography a little while ago. And there was one where basically the female was just chatting to the camera guy.
Oh, while it's all happening?
Yeah. So
hey, what's your name? How's it going?
Well, they were chatting about, you know, stuff that she liked and whatever, like whilst this guy's having sex with her. And she's like, she's like, this guy's doing a fucking great job. And he's like, oh, thanks. Like, and he starts looking her a bit harder. She's just like, and then so the guy answered her question and she's just like, hang on a minute. This is a good bit.
That is really
and it was like,
bizarre.
But it was lovely. It was amazing. Yeah,
okay.
Because it was two people having a lovely time.
Yeah.
Like,
no one's being offended by the fact that she's having a chat with somebody else while he's having sex with her.
Nothing false about the situation.
Right, okay.
You know there's a camera guy in all of these videos. Or 5. There's a whole bunch of people in the background. You know, and they're just acknowledging it, but also still having a nice time while it's going on. So it's like it was a novel idea. To make that sort of film. And was genuinely quite erotic because of it.
Nice.
And I remember a sexual encounter from many, many years ago where we just got into a flow of making fun of each other.
Making fun of each other?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So she would say, something like, I can't remember, the only reason why I'm sleeping with you is because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So, well, we wouldn't be here in the first place,
Yeah.
Then she'd be like, she would be, well, it's not like we're having a nice time anyway, is it? Because your fucking dick's so small. I was like, and it was like, well, you haven't entertained the idea that you've just got a massive vagina. While we're doing it, and of course, as it's getting more,
this is why you're having sex, yeah.
But this, as it's getting more and more like personal and revolting, you're just going at it harder and harder.
That's so bizarre. But fun.
Well, but it was amazing.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's hilarious.
And then you sort of collapse in a sway mess at the end.
Yeah.
And go,
Didn't mean
and
that.
then roll over and go, that was rubbish. And then, of course, you both start laughing.
So it's like really like negative role play.
Yeah. But we literally couldn't stop cracking up whilst it was happening.
Yeah.
And so to be in that kind of state really, really means you're engaged.
Yeah, definitely.
So actually thinking about things that might offend that person.
Yeah.
whilst you're doing it.
Give it a go.
Yeah, give it a go.
Why not?
Yeah.
I'm going to, try that one out. I need to get more confident. That might help me get more confident by actually saying horrible things to them.
Yeah, I think.
What does that say about me?
I think you've probably got to be a bit careful.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I'd just do that with
I've heard of people calling people fat, like whilst having sex, and that's just like,
no.
Why would you?
Yeah.
But if she just said, can we swap positions, you fat fucker?
You're so fucking heavy.
Or if you have that kind of relationship, then maybe that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it depends on the situation, circumstances.
And I think you can probably tell by how self-deprecating someone else is.
Yeah.
So if they're quite self-deprecating in a funny way, actually, you doing it and them doing it to you is probably kind of just okay.
Yeah.
But I think you need to. I think it will either click, or don't.
Really not
or
a good idea.
Just don't do it at all. Yeah.
Maybe one of those things you could talk about before doing it, perhaps, just in case. I don't know.
Do you want some fucking sex, you fat bitch? Fuck you.
That really won't work. But yeah, eye contact. I am a big believer in that. I think it's fantastic.
Yes, but general overall engagement in that person, make that person feel desired, and you'll probably get it back in spades.
Yeah. I mean, you get that in normal life, when you talk to somebody and you engage with them completely and they feel seen, heard. It's exactly the same thing, isn't it? In a conversation, and then put that into the bedroom and it's exactly the same thing as well,
Yes. Which is why, again, why we do the podcast in the first place is things like normal pornography just doesn't set you up for real life, because they don't do that.
No.
They get into a room, you generally don't see the man's face at all ever. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then, and they go through some motions, and then, it's either the scenario that's attractive, some sort of fantasy scenario, or some fantasy thing that you don't get to do with other people normally.
Yeah. And everyone looks completely like pristine perfection, bleached bum holes, like assholes do not look like that.
No.
Like, I'm sorry.
No.
So it does ruin it, I think, for if you're just, if you're like, 16 or 18 and you're just starting out having sex and you're watching porn and then you see the reality of it, it is a bit of a shit like reality check. It's actually like, oh, it's not like porn,
Yeah.
So,
and the amount
I like the amateur stuff way better.
And the amount of people I meet who are in relationships and they're just like, sex is a bit like means that is probably what's happening. They don't feel desired while they're having sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say that is almost the definition of having rubbish sex.
Mhm.
You can still go through the motions and
Yeah.
everyone can finish.
Mhm.
You might even get an orgasm.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
but yeah,
It's generic.
it's the difference between having sex and having good sex, I would say.
Yep, I totally agree with you there. Yeah.
Okay.
Eye
We have
contact.
fixed the entirety of every people's sex life.
Yeah.
Like it.
Well
don't
done.
have any more on that.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So go and have more sex, engage with each other, and click the bell.
Talk.
And there'll be other bits of advice, I'm sure, maybe one day.
Yeah.
But you'll also want to hear from this podcast. So subscribe and like and click the bell and do all that stuff.
Sounds good.
I will see you in the next one.
Bye.